Hi, I just wanted to pop in and say hi. I haven't done a live video here yet. So, I had a thought this morning of something I really wanted to share, and with being the long weekend, I didn't want to type up a big long post, and I figured you guys didn't want to read one. So, one thing that's going on with me I wanted to share. I'm going to start with a little bit of a backstory, or forestory, I guess. Is one thing I've really learned in the 4 years doing BodyTalk is that we have a purpose for why we are here and in this life, and that when we are fulfilling that purpose, we are in harmony, that everything happens for a reason, and that when we're not doing our purpose and we're on the wrong path, then we hit roadblocks. Our life, something will happen to try to shift our life in a different direction, that everything happens for a reason. In my life, I had some really dramatic things, and some less dramatic things. So one thing that happened was I broke my arm in a car accident, which led me to my very first yoga class. That was the way I got there, is because I was wrestling with the Huskies, and I couldn't train, so I had to do something, and I ended up attending a noon hour class at the field house, where I still teach there all the time, now 6 years straight. So yeah, that was the first step in my journey to get here. From there, I ended up having some other stuff happen that had led me on my other parts of my journey. But one thing I've really recognized now with clients is when we recognize what their purpose is and we get them on that path of doing their purpose, their life starts to get dramatically better. That pain goes away, all these different things start to shift and change. And with clients of mine that I work with, and they don't need to see me very often, only when there's acute things popping up, that they're physically in harmony, that everything is good and smooth when we're doing our purpose. And the thing I've recognized with that is that that our purpose in some way is to help heal the world, to do good things in this world, to make the world a better place in some way, that we have that purpose. So in BodyTalk, we work with what we call the 8th chakra. Often it's referred to as our past life or hereditary influences, that we're not a blank slate, that energy has to be created or destroyed. BodyTalk is all based in science, quantum mechanics. So on the scientific end, energy has to go somewhere. So we talk about our active memories, things and events in our life that hold charges on us that we need to uncharge so we feel at peace and we can move past things. But if we die and we have all these charged events, all these things we haven't dealt with, they have to go somewhere. And that these events end up going back into the universe, and every new little life gets a little scoop out of that bucket. We look at it kind of like a big ocean. And with that, we aren't blank slates when we're born. We have these past life traumas, we have hereditary things, genetic things, all these beliefs and holdings, which have been quite documented on that realm, of Holocaust survivors, children's generations down the road that are still afraid to have showers, that we carry these things ingrained into us, that we can cut and sever. But we aren't blank slates, and all of these karmic debt things we have are part of helping us shift and figure out what it is our purpose is. And so it can become pretty clear sometimes in our sessions what our purpose is, and I can help you do that. And another thing with past lives, we look at it, that where you haven't lived before in that reincarnation standpoint from the BodyTalk standpoint. But I was reading Dolores Cannon's books, The Convoluted Universe, which is all about past life regression. She's documented through hypnosis since like the 70s, and the consistency of what happens in between lives, and that deep down in there, we know what it is we are supposed to be doing with our life. The one thing I always ask, and the one thing that comes up first, is when you were a preschooler, a kindergartner, what was the thing you wanted to be when you grew up? Because that's probably pretty close. One of my colleagues said hers was to be a magician. So to be a BodyTalker is kind of like being a magician. For me, I always wanted to be like a nurse or a paramedic, fixing those urgent things. I knew I needed to help people heal. And that's where I am now. So the main reason why I wanted to do this post was my purpose is to do body talk. That became very clear for me about 2 years, a year and a half ago at one of my sessions. And we had to get rid of my Yoga Joe, that I am not Yoga Joe, that I am a body talker, that this is my purpose. And I've had a plantar's wart for pretty much 10 years that I got in South Korea when I did my yoga teacher training that I could not get rid of. We've tried 3 different homeopathic remedies, we've tried burning them, we've done everything under the sun over the last 10 years. And for somebody who is absolutely healthy, never gets sick otherwise, my immune system would just not get rid of this plantar's wart. But it became evident for me about a year and a half, 2 years ago, that, or even before that, when I was adamant about wanting to go do more yoga training, which when that didn't happen, that I ended up taking body talk training instead, that all my warts spread. And now that I've decided to close the yoga studio, and I've even dropped Yankee, that I've shifted out of Joanne Yankee Yoga, I've changed my name, I'm Joanne Fisher now, that I am Fisher Family Body Talk, that they're all going away. Well, the ones that were outside the cluster are gone, and I pretty much healed all of that. That I got these warts with yoga, and I'm not supposed to teach yoga, and it was just one sign of my body rejecting that. So I am healing in so many levels and so many layers, and my life is shifting so dramatically now that I'm moving on to the path that I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm so pleased that all of you are going to be joining me on this path and the path of Fisher Family Body Talk. And yeah, please share, please come see me. We're going to have more group sessions, lots of good things to come. Any questions for my people that are on with me live? No? Okay, we'll talk to you guys. I don't know how to stop this. Oh, there it is.